Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank all of you guys for being here. My name is Jose Patiño. I'm a dreamer of 25 years old from Phoenix, Arizona. I migrated, and I'm a member of the Dream Army. I migrated to the United States when I was 6 years old from Guanajuato, Mexico. I grew up in a tough, impoverished neighborhood in Phoenix, Arizona, but I had a wonderful mother who was tougher. To honor my mother's sacrifices, I pushed myself in school and successfully graduated with a mechanical engineering degree from Phoenix, Arizona, from Arizona State University. Since a child, I always wanted to serve my country, my family, and my community. When I came to this country, I only had one pair of jeans, one shirt on my back, my boots, my belt, but the dream of my parents and my family. I want to serve my country to show how grateful I am for all it has provided me, all it has given to me. Unfortunately, as you will hear today, undocumented youth, even with DACA, are currently ineligible to serve in the military, despite being in this country is the only home that we know. Behind me are dreamers from Kansas, Texas, Illinois, Florida, Colorado, who have all graduated from JROTC or ROTC programs and all share the dream to serve. We're excited to be joined by Representative Luis Gutierrez, Representative Kaufman, and Denham. As I'm sure you'll hear from these remarks today, there are many potential legislative and administrative opportunities to allow us to serve in the military and honorably wear this country's uniform. But today is bigger than ourselves. It's about the dreams of our parents. The reason we're here is because our parents made the sacrifices to bring us to this country with nothing that they knew of, only the clothes on their back, for us to provide better family. And now that we're here, we want to serve our country. We want to serve our parents' memory, our community. And I want to take a moment that is a little bit frustrating because Representative Cantor has said in the past that he supports dreamers. He supports legislation like the KIDS Act. But yesterday he came out, and last week he came out saying that he will block the Enlist Act if introduced by Congressman Denham in the House. And that to me doesn't make any sense. But our fight continues, and the debate is not over until we get a vote on immigration reform, because the families can't give up. My mother can't give up, and I will never give up for my mom, and I will never give up on this country. And I would like you guys to hear from Matthew Hentz to introduce Maria Velazquez, which share the story of why we're here. Matthew?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Hetz. I'm from Staten Island, New York. I attend Porishman High School. I'm a senior. I enlisted in the Army in July. And, my bad. Yeah, July. And I'm here today to help support these people, these men and women behind me, who have the same dream that I did, who want to serve their country, because there's no better, greater purpose than to do this. These people are willing to put their lives on the line every day, and it's wrong that because they don't have a 9-digit social security number that they're not allowed to do this. So I'm here to support in any way I possibly can and to give a voice to those who feel the same way I do on this matter. I would like to introduce to you a very close friend of mine, Maria Velazquez, who also attends Porishman High School.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Maria Velazquez. I came to this country when I was just 6 years old. I came with my mom, my dad, and also my sister. Coming here was really hard. I got separated from my mom. I had to grow up at that moment and take care of my sister. Although we were separated for one day, to me it felt like a lifetime. Being separated from your own mother and just not knowing where you're going or what's going to happen to you is the most fearful thing that could happen to you. When I arrived to this country, I didn't know any language. I did not know English. And that was a struggle for me. Every day at recess, I would stay with my teacher and she would tutor me to learn English. Now, I didn't want to come to this country. I was actually fighting with my mom, telling her, show me how to cook, show me how to clean. I stay. and I won't tell anybody I'm alone, but I do not want to go. She told me, no, mija, you have to come with us because we don't want you to be alone. Growing up, I thought I was like everybody else. I was just a normal citizen with a normal life until I reached 8th grade. In 8th grade, I got bullied because I was not an American citizen. The kids said cruel jokes such as, oh, you mow my lawns, and every racist comment that could be told. I went into a low depression because I felt like they were right, that I can't do anything. But going into high school, I started to realize that I need to do something better. So my friend who was in JRTC, he said, come, join the program. You'll have confidence boost, you'll become better. So I joined in my sophomore year. Joining JRTC was actually the greatest thing I've ever done. It actually boosted up my confidence, and I have become independent. I have become a builder, a planner, and that's what really has helped me. My AI, he told me, you could do everything, you could do anything. Filling out college applications was the hardest thing because I realized I can't get financial aid. And every day I cried and I said, I can't do it. But everybody, all my friends, all my family, they were behind me and said, yes, you can do it. It doesn't matter the obstacles that you're facing. The obstacles you're facing is what's shaping you to be better in the future. I got accepted to all the colleges I applied for, and I'm proud of that. That was all my effort. And everybody who was behind me, I would like to thank them. The reason why we're here is to talk and have the voice that millions of people have that don't want to share out, but we have their voice. We are here, and that's all we want to do. I will now be followed by Abraham.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for showing up. My name is Abraham Diaz. I come from Texas, and I am speaking for the undocumented children, youth that came to this country. Myself, I got here at the age of 9. I was brought by my parents. They brought me to this country. It wasn't my choice. I came here. Eventually, I finished high school. I'm a top honor student, graduated at the top of my class with honors, 4.0 GPA. And my dream was, I'm gonna serve the military. I've heard stories from veterans, and their leadership is just great. It's enormous. It's just, there's no words to describe what they went through. That motivated me to enlist. Unfortunately, because I did not have a social security number, I was rejected by the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, and the U.S. Navy. I wasn't able to enlist. They broke my dream. I enrolled at the University of Texas Pan American and continued my education. Currently, I am a junior at the university. I have a 4.0 GPA, and I got my deferred action. But unfortunately, I am still not able to enlist in the military. My dream has not become true. I will be soon graduating. Am I going to pursue my dream? No. It's unfortunate. There are thousands of us out there that are doing this. We're fighting for this. We want to make our dream a reality. We want to serve our country. This has been our country. We are here. We've been Americans. We speak the language. We know our history. Why are we not considered Americans? It's sad. And we want this legislation to go on to fulfill thousands of dreams. America is the dream country where people come and fulfill their dreams. But unfortunately, until right now, I am not unable. I will be presenting Marco now.
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank my peers, fellow dreamers, and deferred action eligible youth who are here as well to show their enthusiasm and desire to serve our country as well. My name is Michael. I am 25 years old. I immigrated to this country at the age of 6. I was brought by my parents in hopes of a better future and a better education. Throughout my academics, I became an honor student. And in high school, I was involved in the Junior Army ROTC program. It was then and there that I realized that I had a purpose, that I wanted to do something far greater, that I wanted to serve my country. I remember speaking with some of my Army instructors and senior Army instructors and telling them that, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to earn my commission just like you. It was during one day, actually coming back home from a leadership training, that I spoke with my father and told him, Dad, Papa, I want to be a Marine. I want to serve my country. I saw his face, a blank face, and he said, Mijo, son, you won't be able to. Why? Because you lack a 9-digit social security number. Now, I was only a junior. I didn't know what that meant at that time. I wasn't aware of my status of being undocumented. But soon after I had graduated, full honors, merits, an ROTC scholarship, cadet battalion commander from my unit, I realized I wouldn't be able to fulfill my dreams. I went ahead and actually enrolled in one of the colleges, Maricopa Community Colleges, back at home, and I've been pursuing a degree in political science. But today, 4 years, actually now from 2010, we are here because there is legislation that can be enacted and passed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an extension of our service and commitment to our country. This is an extension of the commitment that we have towards our families. We are here, we are ready to serve. We are America's best. They are America's best. I want to thank our congressmen for their professionalism and their ethics, and for being here today, and for being supporters of our cause. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Cesar Vargas. I'm the director of the Dream Action Coalition. Like many of them, in 2010, I was here in Washington, D.C. trying to fight not only to be for the DREAM Act, but also to aspire to serve my country. As a law school graduate, one of my aspirations has been to serve as a military lawyer and to actually serve the soldiers, serve the veterans as well. And what you see behind here are will not make not only great soldiers, but they will make exceptional officers. And one of these days, perhaps many of them will become the next 4-star generals that we're going to be leading our country. But to accomplish that, we need our leaders, we need our champions to go out there and fight for us and fight to make sure we get this done. So joining us, we have our leaders who are going to be fighting for us to ensure we get this done. So our first speaker, who I've been working for quite a while, Congressman Kaufman, on the military component, will introduce himself and see how the work that we have to do. So Congressman Kaufman.
And don't lock those knees. Somebody who was a sergeant in the Army and they're major in the United States Marine Corps, I can tell you, do not lock your knees. Relax there. I have a combined 21 years of military service between the Army Reserve, the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps Reserve, and I believe that the young people who were brought by their parents to this country as children, who grew up here, who went to school here, and who know of no other country besides the United States, should have the opportunity to serve this country in the armed forces and to earn a path to citizenship from their service. Tengo 21 años de servicio militar entre el ejército, la reserva del ejército, la infantería de la marina y la reserva de la infantería de la marina. Y creo que los jóvenes, quienes les fueron traídos por sus padres a este país como hijos, que crecieron aquí, que fueron a la escuela aquí, y quién sabe, de ningún otro país, además de los Estados Unidos, deben tener la oportunidad de servir a este país en las Fuerzas Armadas y ganarse un camino a la ciudadanía de sus servicios. Thank you very much. Great to be here today.
Thank you so much. Next is immigration champion, who we know not just for the military component, but to ensure that we're fighting for immigration reform, but also to keep our families together from deportations. So Congressman Gutierrez, please.
Sorry. All right. With so many youth in our community encouraged to go down the wrong path, we should be helping young men and women who want to go down the right path. Dreamers are American in every sense, as you've heard here this afternoon, in every sense but a piece of paper. Those who have come forward, applied for deferred action, received clearance through a rigorous criminal background check, and have grown up here and should be given the opportunity to serve their country in the military if they so choose. Now we hear that U.S. citizens are being denied enlistment if they have undocumented family parents. It's not only the dreamers that have received DACA, but even if you are an American citizen of the United States of America and you have an undocumented dependent, you're being denied the ability to serve in the armed forces of the United States. A military recruiter counseled a young woman to divorce her undocumented spouse in order to gain enlistment to the Marines. What kind of twisted logic is that? This is just another way in which our society must twist itself in knots because of the failure of the House of Representatives to pass immigration reform. There are no excuses anymore. If Republicans refuse to address immigration reform, it is becoming clear that many of them prefer the status quo. I don't understand how you could prefer a system where U.S. citizens are denied entry into the U.S. military. I don't see the logic in a system where young, smart, brilliant, really committed, and patriotic youth who grow up in the United States are legally and systematically excluded from embracing the only country they've ever known, the country they will probably live in the rest of their lives, and a country where we place barriers to their success and their ability to contribute. Clearly, not all Republicans agree. Polls show consistent and overwhelming support for immigration reform, not just among American voters, not just among Republican primary voters, but also those who identify themselves as Tea Party Republicans. And clearly not all Republican members of Congress agree, or I would not be standing here with two outstanding members of the U.S. House of Representatives, with Congressman Mike Kaufman and my friend Congressman Jeff Denham. They are fighting a difficult fight within their own party, and sometimes against their own leadership. And even this issue of immigrants in the military is an important skirmish in the larger battle for immigration reform. It is very important that Republicans step up and declare the urgency of political, moral, and economic and security necessity of passing immigration reform. With allies like Denham and Kaufman, like Diaz-Balart and Ross-Lehtinen, who join you, and others in the Republican majority, with dreamers and churches and billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, and unions and communities pushing from the outside, and the press resisting the temptation every other week to declare immigration reform dead, I congratulate you for resisting that temptation. We still have a realistic chance of accomplishing legislative reform this year. And as I've said, in the absence of legislative reform, you can be sure that we will see administrative reform if all other options are exhausted. All we need is a vote in the House. And all we need is for Eric Cantor and John Boehner to enlist their own party and the American people and let immigration reform move forward in the House of Representatives. Quiero decir algo bien breve en español. ¿Por qué es que yo insisto que se puede aprobar que estos jóvenes pueden servir en las fuerzas militares? Le voy a decir por qué. Porque existe en la Cámara de representantes republicanos como el congresista Kaufman y el congresista Denham. Sí, Denham y Kaufman vienen de la boca de Luis Gutierrez, que no puede ser más demócrata en el caucus demócrata y más proinmigrante. Porque nosotros tenemos líderes de la valentía que están listos a confrontar su propio liderazgo y su propio partido. Y por eso yo tengo confianza y tengo fe, porque por fin existen los votos. Y como ustedes, especialmente en los medios en español, que siguen tan atentos a este issue, ustedes saben que mi propio partido resistió en el 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 intentos de aprobar inmigración y reforma. Yo sé lo difícil que es para ellos, porque yo estaba en sus mismos zapatos, tratando de que mi partido también bregara con el issue. Así que los felicito y quiero decirle que, mira, que las cosas están tan y tan buenas. Things are going so and so well that it seems as though I'm going to just become a footnote, because at least in the past they always needed me for translation. As we have seen, translation is no longer necessary. They speak a beautiful, wonderful language of America. And I wanted to say thank you to Congressman Denham and to Congressman Kaufman for their hard work. We're going to persevere. We're going to get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Gutierrez. And just a few weeks ago, Congressman, the Majority Leader, Eric Cantor, opposed a proposal that will allow Dreamers to serve in the military. But the politics has been far too long in Washington, D.C. and around the country. And Congressman Denham pretty much said enough is enough with games. I'm still going to ensure that we get this done regardless of the politics. And Congressman Denham, thank you so much for championing a lot of this.
Thank you. Well, we're here to discuss military readiness. We're doing the National Defense Reauthorization Act, as we did last year, as we do every year, to discuss the strength of our nation. There's no greater commitment. There's no greater sacrifice. These men and women want to serve the only country that they know. They're willing to put their lives on the lines for our freedom. Why wouldn't we have that as part of our National Defense Reauthorization Bill? Now, there's other issues within immigration in the NDAA today, on border security, on Afghanistan and Iraq in the past, other immigrants coming to this great country. Why wouldn't we invite those that have been educated in our schools, that have passed background checks, that speak the language, that the military is willing to accept within the military ranks? Why wouldn't we allow them to fulfill their dreams and serve the great nation that they know? We're going to continue this fight today, tomorrow, this great debate, and as a standalone bill. But I believe that these men and women have the right to serve. Over 660,000 immigrants have served to defend this country. Served with me in Desert Storm. I served 16 years in the Air Force. Desert Storm in Somalia, we served side by side with immigrants who had legal permanent status by serving, and after an honorable discharge, gained citizenship. This is America. Why wouldn't we allow them to serve? Why wouldn't we allow them to commit? Why wouldn't we allow them to earn their citizenship through this process? Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. As a New Yorker after 9/11, serving in the military was very personal for me. And one of my aspirations to go into in high school was to one day be able to attend West Point. Clearly that did not happen because of my immigration status. But today we have Congressman Castro, who introduced an amendment that would allow many of these young people to serve in West Point, in the Naval Academy. And hopefully we can put politics aside. But Congressman Castro, thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm very proud to stand here with my colleagues, Representative Gutierrez, who's been a steadfast champion of immigration reform for so many years, and Republican Congressman Denham and Kaufman on all of their work on the NDAA and making sure that Dreamers and DACA students can serve in the U.S. military. You know, about 5 or 6 months ago, West Point convened a meeting with members of the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. And their message to us is that we want academies that reflect the diversity of America. And oftentimes there are slots for appointment to the U.S. military academies where no recommendation is made by members of Congress. We don't know why exactly that is, but we do know that there are a group of people, these DACA students and DREAM Act students, who, if given the opportunity, would do well in our U.S. military academies, who are eager to serve the only country that they've ever called home. These students are, except under the eyes of the law, as American as any of us. This is the only home they've known. And so what we ask of the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives is that he give these people a chance to serve, both in the military and in our academies. We know that they'll make great officers, great soldiers, great airmen, that they will do our country proud. And, you know, I had a chance to meet one of those folks in my hometown of San Antonio my guest to the State of the Union was a young man named Omar Leal. He came up to Washington. He's a senior in San Antonio, and his dream is to go on to the military, but to first go to one of the academies. And his commander in high school talked about what an incredible student he was, how great he was in ROTC, and really lamented the fact that in the United States, somebody who is by all virtues American, like Omar, would not be able to go to the academies and would not be able to serve in the military. The Congress has a chance to change that this week, and I hope that the Speaker will heed that and will do just that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. The debate of immigration reform has continued, and as we were saying, there's a lot of roadblocks, a lot of obstacles for us to confront. But with this young, amazing people, we're going to get this done because we know we have champions in Congress, we have our community behind us, and at the same time, we are ensuring that our leaders in Congress hear our voices to ensure that we pass legislation that's going to get this done. But at the same time, the President also has the authority as an alternative vehicle to allow dreamers to serve in the military. We will continue fighting for legislation. We will continue to pressure Speaker Boehner and Majority Leader Cantor to ensure that we have legislation that will allow these young, talented dreamers to serve in the military and become officers in the military academies. But the President can just swiftly do that as well through his own authority. He has the power just by the stroke of a pen to instruct the Department of Defense to allow dreamers with DACA to serve in the military. Just like he can with deportations, just like how the family unity should not be a partisan issue. Democrats have been playing this game for quite long. Republicans have been playing with this game for quite long. We need champions like this who care about the people, the policies, and the victories for our communities. Lo que estamos viendo que ahorita también vamos a asegurar pelear por una legislación que va a dejar a estos jóvenes servir en el militar, asegurar que son los soldados futuros del futuro, pero también los soldados comandantes, los generales del futuro. Y sabemos vamos a seguir presionando al Speaker Boehner, al líder Cantor, para asegurar que pongan esas propuestas y las pasen para que muchos de estos jóvenes sean los soldados del futuro. Pero también el presidente tiene ese poder de asegurar que puedes dejar a los dreamers servir en el militar. Vamos a seguir presionando, pero también vamos a seguir presionando al presidente que haga este cambio en reglas. Porque también así como tiene este poder, también tiene el poder de parar las deportaciones de nuestras familias, de parar las deportaciones para asegurar que ni muchos de estos jóvenes no tengan que preocuparse de sus familias mientras están en guerra, que aseguren que sus padres, sus madres estén ahí en sus casas. And today we're going to close, and we want to thank everyone. We want to thank the amazing young dreamers. We want to thank Forward for helping us put this event together. And we just want to take a few questions now.
I'm looking forward to testifying in front of Rules this afternoon with Congressmember Duckworth. She'll be joining me. We're going to be discussing not only the Enlist Act, but I've got two other amendments. And one of those amendments is to, if we're not going to discuss the Enlist Act and something that they say deals with immigration, then we ought to just pull out all immigration issues and deal with them in block at a later date. So I'm still looking for a date certain. I obviously would prefer to have a standalone bill rather than an amendment, and we're going to continue to fight to get that done. I don't think it puts it at risk. I don't think he does either. The people at home know, you know, what I'm fighting for, what I represent, and I'm very vocal about that at home.
Yeah, Congressman, did Leader Cantor tell you why he is not going to allow your amendment to come to the floor in order?
The statement came from staff, so I'm still looking for a reason. Leader Cantor and I have not discussed since our discussion last week.
He hasn't given you any reason?
We're going to have that discussion today, I hope.
Can I get your reaction to, there was a top Pentagon official, and Cesar just alluded to it, that they are considering doing what your legislation would do more through administrative action. Can I get your response to
I think the DOD has the ability to do this today. And if the military takes the position that they want the best and brightest, and these men and women meet that criteria, then I think it's something that the Department of Defense is willing and able to do.
For them, would you be okay if President Obama takes action on this issue if Congress doesn't move on with this?
As a matter of military readiness and national defense, if the Department of Defense changes its criteria, that is something that I would welcome.
Does anybody want, Congressman, anybody want to respond to the administration?
The leader and I have discussed immigration reform many times, and I believe that he's committed to resolving this issue as well as others in the future. But beyond that, I think you'd have to ask him. I am frustrated that the House has not had a full debate on the entire immigration issue. That neither party has taken it up, both when Democrats had control of both houses and the presidency, as well as Republicans certainly for once had some strong leadership from the Senate. It's time for us to debate the issue. This is a small piece of it. But I believe that the American public deserves and wants to hear a full debate on all aspects of immigration, and I'm hopeful that we get there over the next couple of months. I think it depends on the strength and the will of the independent members of our conference as well as the House. You know, you've got 4 members here willing to cross party lines, work together, and get things done. I think we've got to send that message very loud and clear to both parties in the House and really drive the debate forward. I think it's my responsibility to drive leadership and to explain to our conference how important of an issue this is.
What do I expect to happen in the Rules Committee today? I expect them to take Congressman Denham's amendment and rule it in order, as it should be. That's still my hope.
As it was last year.
As it was last year. And that's still my hope. I don't see why we can't. And you all remember when the Republican majority came out with their principles back in January. And one of those principles was that the youth would be allowed permanent residency immediately and a straight path to American citizenship. And we know how many members of the Republican majority support the Dreamers and support comprehensive immigration reform. So my hope is that they will take up the amendment. ¿Qué yo pienso? Yo pienso que lo tomen. Miren, para mí, no obstante lo que sucede en el comité de regla, el hecho que yo esté parado al lado del congresista Denham y el congresista Kaufman, para mí eso es un éxito. Esto es un adelanto. Ya estamos ganando, porque ellos están combatiendo su propio liderazgo y su propio partido para hacer bien para nuestra comunidad inmigrante. Y eso es algo que no hemos presenciado nosotros y que vislumbra en el futuro inmediato un resultado muy positivo para la legislación. Chamber of Commerce, Donahue has said, get it done if you want to be a viable party Republican. That's Donahue, not exactly a Democratic stalwart. Juan Williams wrote in Roll Call just a couple of weeks ago. He said, get it done. But more importantly is that Kaufman and Denham are struggling within their own party for an American solution to an American dilemma and problem. that would help the young men and women behind us and millions of others who are American except everything but a piece of paper. But like them, I think we should recognize that there are dozens of other members of the Republican majority who wish to have a vote. You know what this tells me? The votes exist to pass not only this bill, but to go further. And I just want to thank both of them for standing up and for showing the kind of leadership they've had today.
Questions for Representative Kaufman and Castro?
I guess if either of you could speak to this, I'm wondering, you mentioned that it's obviously a smaller measure. Right now you can't even get a vote on this kind of smaller measure. What does that mean for immigration reform in general? You can't even get a vote on something like this.
Mike?
I just don't think that this issue's dead at all. I think that's been exaggerated. I think the discussions are still alive. Maybe not for the National Defense Authorization Act, but potentially for a standalone bill. You know, and there's just a place in my heart for this. You know, I went in the military when I was 17 years old as a high school dropout. You know, I earned a high school diploma through an Army program. Went to the University of Colorado under the GI Bill. Graduated, became an officer of the United States Marine Corps. So I just want the same opportunity for the young people that are standing behind me today that I had growing up.
No. I've always been very vocal of what my intentions would be. We've got to have a full immigration debate, and I'm hopeful we get to that point this summer. I think, as you can see here, this is a first issue. Now, there are 3 other issues within the NDAA bill today. We either want them all to be taken up together or pull them all out so we can address them all together. But I expect that not only will we have a full debate on the Enlist Act, but that we will actually have a vote at some point.
Well, I just want to say one quick point. I have legislation too that I'll be bringing up to the National Defense Authorization Act. Even I think, despite the fact that leadership has said that, I think they put out statements that it's not, you know, and I think that it's probably not going to happen. It's just important to show that Congressman Denham and I are committed to the issue. And if they want to vote it down in the Rules Committee, they're just going to vote it down in the Rules Committee.
We are united. We're going to work together, and we're going to solve this problem.
I want to say that Congressman Kaufman and I circulated a letter to the Department of Defense because of these contradictions. On the one hand, as you all know, there were members of the armed forces being called to duty and deployed, but simultaneously their spouses were receiving orders of deportation. Go serve in Afghanistan, go serve in Iraq, go serve in the military, but your wife's getting an order of deportation. So what the Obama administration did was took an action. And they said, well, that doesn't make any sense. And please note how nobody complained about the executive action they took. They said, if you are a member of the military and your spouse has these kinds of issues and problems, we're simply going to parole her in place. And I know, as Specialist Nunez in my city of Chicago's wife today is a green card holder and on her way to becoming an American citizen, that's what we're going to do. But unfortunately, the military, on the other hand, has all of these regulations that say if you are an American citizen but have a spouse or a dependent that's undocumented, we won't enlist you. We won't allow you to enlist American citizens. So I just want to let Congressman Kaufman, yesterday Senator Durbin had a hearing on your very proposal on the Enlist Act and on allowing them in Chicago, and we heard from the Department of Defense, and they told us that early this summer we are going to get an answer to and that they're looking at the regulations. I'm very hopeful that one way or another, and you've heard Congressman Denham, and I know how Congressman Kaufman feels about this, one way or another, these young men and women are going to be able to serve in the military. I'm going to tell you what I prefer. I prefer that you allow the Congress of the United States to voice through votes and not do it through executive action. But that's what I prefer. I think that is the best way forward. And that's why I support Congressman Denham and Kaufman so much in their endeavors to get a vote. But notwithstanding that, if that doesn't happen, then I think the President of the United States not only has the responsibility, but has the authority under law to make the kinds of changes that will allow the men and women here with us to serve in the military of the United States. Thank you so much.